we're here with our guest cook Danielle, and she's going to teach us how to cook
sweet and sour pork. So just cut it in the pork, and you just need to cut it like this size. So look at your thumb. Beat 2 eggs into a bowl. Please whisk it in. Don't need to whisk it too well. Once you've done that, just pour a little bit, so like maybe a quarter of the mixture. Into here and let that aside for later. After that, you just need to season it. So white pepper. How do you operate this? Has this been open?
Put black pepper in.
Oh no, I think it has to be white pepper. Yeah. Then you just add some white pepper. A bit of a
How much do you add?
Oh, if you want to be precise, like
tablespoon?
No, quarter of a teaspoon.
Like a pinch of white pepper.
Like a pinch of it.
Alright,
and then a quarter teaspoon of salt. So you can use a spoon if you want, but I just chuck it in.
And how much salt?
About a quarter of a teaspoon.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a bit of sugar.
How much?
Probably like a good teaspoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
A heap.
Cool. And then just a bit. So I would say
That looks like a white powder.
it's a white powder in a Ziploc bag. Dodgy. I would say like, let's start with 2 big teaspoons.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And then
Just stir it.
stir it in. You can also chuck in, if you want to get fancy, soy sauce or 5 spice
Okay.
in here as well. Cool. So while your pork marinates for about 5 minutes, you can heat up the oil in the meantime. So it needs to be on a medium heat. You don't want the oil to be too hot, otherwise it won't cook the pork in the middle. But you don't want it too cold, otherwise it's going to get really oily and gross.
How much oil do you put in there?
I would say about 500 mils. So this is a 2 litre, but because we've got quite a lot of pork today, we'll put an extra bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you just put enough in to cover.
Yeah. So you want to shallow fry it. Although I'm scared that's not going to be enough. I might do a dash more.
Just fry half.
Yeah, half, yeah.
Cool.
And then how do you know the oil is hot?
So you can either, do you got a chopstick?
Do you want a piece of wood?
Oh yeah, anything.
You've got a chopstick, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's still work. Cool. So if you got a chopstick or a skewer and you chuck it in, you should see little bubbles forming around the skewer. Or you can just chuck a bit of like the like leftover liquid from the pork or some egg in there to see if it starts bubbling, but it needs to start bubbling. So you just need to grab, because you've got a lot of pork here, maybe put half the bowl in. You just need to chuck it into the corn flour. You have to get your hands dirty. And then you just need to coat it quickly. Now you can just chuck it straight in the oil like this, but if you want them super crispy, chuck them just on the egg and then chuck them back in the corn flour. So
And then bring it back.
Yeah. And chuck it back into the cooker.
So it's like 3 coating.
Yeah. And that should make it super crispy. Oh, it might need more ink. Doesn't that look yum?
Hungry already. Alright, and then so we're going to check the oil now, eh?
Yeah. Hold on.
And are they ready now?
Not yet. So you just need to really coat it with the corn flour.
You're giving it massage.
Yeah. Oh.
So are you trying to separate them?
Yeah, separate them and get them like coated.
Okay.
I've crowded it a bit. You tuck it in and it bubbles. Yeah. So you gotta be well, so this bit you gotta be careful because it will start to splatter.
Oh yeah?
But you just need to start chucking it in.
Oh wow. What do you need, tongs?
Yeah, or like you know those like ladle scooper thingies with the hole in it? Yeah, perfect. So just keep stirring. They shouldn't stick to each other if the oil is hot. And you know when it's done, when it starts to go golden brown. And you can get a toothpick or a skewer. And if you poke it, it should slide, like it should go through the pork. You shouldn't have any toughness. Cool. So when you stab it, it should go through really easily.
So is that cooked?
Yeah, that should be cooked.
Alright.
So you just need to
So scoop them out, is
scoop
it?
them out. And the oil, chuck it on some, grab double paper towels
Yeah. On the plate.
on a plate. And then you can use the oil to cook the next batch.
Sweet.
Cool. So next up, after you've cooked, deep fried your pork, you just want to cut a red onion. So you just take off the little stem bit and you just want to take off the bottom stem bit. And you just want to kind of quarter it.
Quarter and a half.
Yeah, just like chunks like that. Probably just like 3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons.
So you can just reuse that oil. And then you just want to quickly fry up these onions.
Sweet.
You don't want them to be, you just want them softened, you don't want them like sort of brown.
Okay.
And you need to put them to the side afterwards. I was just telling Tash that you can make this pork in advance, and then if you want to cook the French pork the next day, keep the oil and you just re-deep fry them, and they'll keep them crispy.
So do you just chuck the pork in the fridge?
Yeah, pork lion, or you can just keep the oil in the pan and cover it overnight, and then just reheat it again. But I wouldn't keep it for too long, otherwise it'll go rancid. Yeah. Pretty much. So you want it softened, but you don't want it like, you know, sausage sizzle like onions.
Alright, so that's ready to come out.
Cool. So the ratio for your sauce should be 1 to 3. So for every 3 cups of water you chuck in, or 3 cups of whatever you use, you should have 1 of sugar and 1 of vinegar. So that can help with how much sauce you want to make. So this is the water. We'll chuck that in first. So we need to put.
So that's half a cup.
Yeah. So this is gonna.
Taimari is poor.
So So you want to start off with your element off. So I would even take it off the element. So that's 1.
So there's a cup of water.
Yeah. 2. Oh no, we'll probably put like a cup and a half. I think that's
Alright. So 1 cup and a half of water.
Yeah. So doesn't matter which cup you use, so long as you have a 1 to 3 ratio.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So you've got that. Then we'll put a towel. I've just used the pan straight away after using the cooking the onions. But if you want a really clear sauce, you want to clean the pan
Right.
fully beforehand. Cool. So we've got 3 of these in here. So we're going to put 1 of these vinegar in here. Cool. And then this is your 1 of sugar. So once you've got that ratio in, you just chuck it on the heat. Chuck it sort of medium high.
Medium high?
Yeah,
Okay.
and bring it to a boil.
Alright.
Once it's come to a boil, taste it, and then you can adjust. If you want it more sour, put more vinegar in. If you want it more sweet, put more sugar in. Lots of people like to put a bit more sugar in it. Another cool thing you can do is use the leftover pineapple juice that we're going to have soon and put that in instead of putting more sugar in. Yeah, but I wouldn't put too much pineapple juice, otherwise it overwhelms the flavour. Okay, so we're just going to chuck a bit of the pineapple juice in. So I think that would be about 1/4 cup.
Okay.
After that, so start with about 2 or 3 rings. If you want to put more in, that's up to you. And I will just make it maybe like a thumb apart. Other things you can chuck into the sweet and sour pork. You can fry up some capsicums the same time as you fry up your onions, but it's important to put them aside when you make the sauce, because otherwise it will burn because it cooks at a different time as the sugar. So it's better just to chuck it all in the end.
So when do you know the sauce is ready?
So it needs to come to a boil.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just chuck some salt in. So I'd say about 1/4 teaspoon.
And then we start on what temperature do you want?
Like medium
Medium.
high? Yeah, yeah.
So how do you know if it's boiling?
Because just bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bubbles.
it'll bubble quite a bit.
Alright.
So this is starting to boil. So you want to boil a bit. So when it starts to boil, you can chuck in the ketchup. I just like push
So there's
Alright.
bubbles.
Yeah. So I'll just chuck in maybe a tablespoon or 2.
And then stir it.
Yeah. You can also put in some red food colouring to make it like super bright red.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just keep that boiling away. The reason why you need to boil it really well is because you need to really dissolve that sugar. Otherwise, when it cools down, you'll see little crystals.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Keep that boiling.
So you pretty much want to to melt the sugar.
Yeah, really well.
Okay.
And it should become like as it boils away, it will start to become like this sort of, you'll feel it thicker as you like stir it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll feel a bit heavier. Cool. So you can just... Sweet. So while that's boiling away, you can get your corn flour thickener ready. So you could do about 1/4 bit of water. Actually, I might pour a bit out. And then put in 2 or 3.
So that's 1/4 of water.
Yeah, and then 2 or 3 big tablespoons of corn flour. So a lot of Chinese cooking, you just want to mix it up. You don't want to put the corn flour in straight to the sauce. You want to mix it with water first, otherwise it'll clump. And this is how a lot of Chinese dishes thicken their sauces. So if you have like chop suey or anything like that, this is what they do. Chicken sweet corn soup. Cool. So when it's been boiling for a while, and you can see boiling, it's like really bubbly, because that's how you know there's a lot of sugar left and a bit of the water's evaporated. You want to chuck in the ingredients that you prepared before. So this is the onion, and then cool. And this is the pineapple. Awesome. And you just want to bring that to a boil quickly. Again, just remember that the pineapple will sweeten it some more as well. So now that it's come to a boil, you want to just chuck your thickener in. So this is the corn flour and water mixture. Just keep mixing that, and that will thicken the sauce.
How much corn flour did you put in the water?
So I put in about a quarter of a cup of water, or maybe just a bit less, with 2 big tablespoons of corn flour. Yeah.
Cool. You can see the sauce is getting bigger, super happy.
So there's like 2 ways of eating the sweet and sour pork. You can either just have the sweet and sour pork on a plate and then pour the sauce on top. So people like a lot of sauce with the sweet and sour pork. But in Cantonese restaurants, you'll like stir fry it, so you won't have that much sauce. It just sort of coats and caramelizes the sauce. But I think this one we're just gonna chuck it all in. Yeah. And then any leftover sauce you guys can just make some more. Dip it in anything else. So if you have like spring rolls. Yeah. Because the pineapple and the onion will change the flavour of the sauce when you're happy with it and it's got the consistency you want. So if you want a super thick sauce, you can either keep reducing it or add more corn flour and water in it, but I think this is going to be alright. And then you just chuck your pork in. So that's our first batch. Second batch, and you just want to coat it really well. Oh.
That just soaked up all the thing.
Yeah, so that should hopefully keep some of the crunch of the batter while soaking up the sauce.
So how long do you stir fry it?
Oh, just real quick, so long as it's coated.
Okay, so then that's it.
That's
It's
it.
ready.
Then you can serve.
Alright.
Oh.
Ready to eat.
Cool, so this is our gulong yok, sweet and sour pork.
And thank you for watching the Chai Mari channel, and thank you Danielle for coming.
No worries, joy again.